Hello again. Welcome back to the Spirit of Watercolor. Hello, Linda back. We're going to go to the table soon and do our demonstration from this book. A demonstration I'm going to do for you inspired by the book called it's Watercolor Basics. There's a series of these watercolor basic books by different authors. This one's by Zoltan Szabo and it's Trees, Mountains, Rocks. I did a book review on this. You can check out a short book review so you know what's in the book overall. And now, I'm going to do a demonstration where I pick something out of this book, and it's going to most likely have trees, mountains, and rocks in it. I was going to kind of break it down chapter by chapter, so do a painting on trees, but we've done that. We've used sponging and we've used dry brush. If you go back in my other videos and look for those, you'll find demonstrations where we actually have done trees enough so in the background, wet on wet, using his slanted brushes. We've done trees in many ways, okay? And if you want more information on trees, he has more in here as far as the different kinds of trees, the different seasons, close up, far away, just to give you more inspirational ideas on how to do trees. I think we get in I don't know why anyone else get in a rut of doing things the same way. And there's just infinite ways to do trees, okay? And then you can get more loose or more detailed. And he talks in this book in every part of his paintings that in the background, it's more soft, more subtle, less texture, more just soft and neutral colors, less value. The basics, those are in my videos as well. If you want to understand about value and perspective, go there. Okay, so we really have covered a lot. So I don't want to be redundant and do things over. The same with mountains, and we did a small sketch on a mountain with the palette brush. I'm going to actually use the palette knife, and maybe some other ways to bring the nice big brushes down and create some beautiful mountains. And we're gonna do that. And again, we know quite a bit about trees already, actually. And the other thing is that he has rocks, and we did a little bit of study of rocks in the foreground in more than one of my demos, so you might want to check those out. So let's just pick one of these. I've been reading this book from front to back, which is why it's taking me so long to get to the video. But he has it's just a lovely book just to read through, easy to read, large print in there, beautiful pictures, and you kind of see his beautiful soft style. So let's choose one of these. I'll show you at the table which one I picked and drawn up, and you can copy that and you can try this with me. Okay, thanks for joining. I'll see you there. So here I took a piece of a Kilimanjaro, a full sheet, 22 by 30, cut it in half, so now it's 15 by 22. And I spray bottled it both sides wet and laid it down, and then took my terry cloth towel and just, run that over top this here to smooth out all the water and spread it out evenly, taped it down. That should help with some of the buckling, okay? And then I'm looking at this picture in the book by Zoltan Szabo that we're looking at here today, Trees, Mountains, Rocks. And I searched for something that I find appealing, and I've changed the composition. I'll show you in a second, but basically looking at trees, some mountainous or cliff type things, and rocks and water. So that we have something to look at where we have all those elements in it. And then I've been drawing, and it's sometimes hard to see the pencil lines, but I've changed the composition a little bit, but similar. And I'm going to change the colors because I really do like it, but I would like it to be a little more colorful, even though some of those ominous blue, it sets a beautiful mood, but I'd like mine to be a little more colorful. And then we're going to have rocks in here, rocks here, We'll have trees up in the mountain here, the smaller mountains back here. He like put in a few little birds, and I've done that before, and that's kind of pleasant in there as well, and water in here. And also remember that we have been doing with the palette knife, the slanted brushes, our trees and our mountains, wet on wet, and so forth, with Zoltan Szabo's brushes and the palette knives. And we'll use again our flat brush and other tools, you know, smaller brushes for detail too. Okay. We're going to do some painting. I'm going to bring in these beautiful colors inspired again by this painting of the volcanic rock formations that I found. Although we're not necessarily going to copy that, but I mean, not verbatim, but I like the colors, the aqua blue and purple. It creates such a mysterious mood effect. So I'm going to do that. Okay, and here's our, make sure we have the painting all the way in there, and we have our palette here. Okay, you can always zoom in later. Might have a little shadow effect here. I'm not sure why, but okay. I see a little bit of a purple here. It's sort of a Quin magenta maybe there, but so we can mix that in a little with our sky. This is the Carbozle Violet that I use a lot. And again, Daniel Smith paints in my Indanthrone blue. You can mix those and make a beautiful sky. And there's aqua blue also in the mountains, and the Indanthrone I'm going to use in the mountain formations up there. He called them volcanic in his, and so we're going to come in and do a little bit of wet on wet here. I've already wet the paper a little, and we're going to do our flat wash in and do some sky. I think you can see my little sketches up there that we did in prior videos, right? Look at that, this beautiful paper here that I have. And we're going to come in and make a beautiful sky wash, okay? And it's just going to flow down because my board is at that 30-degree slant or thereabouts. I'm getting a little less water as I go, a little more water, a little less paint, I should say, as we come down here. And you may see me in there. This is a large piece of paper, so can't decide if it's easier or harder when the paper's this large for me to get in the way. Move this up a little maybe, so I'm not hopefully in there so much. And then our sky will flow down. I may bring a little touch of that purple into it because that's kind of the effect I saw or felt in there as I was looking at this. And keep it soft, but let it create that. Colors have sort of a feeling they create for us too. Okay, a little bit of mystery, a little bit of with these colors. I think the sky is always to me a beautiful mystery. There we go. Yeah, this paint is behaving nicely on this Kilimanjaro paper that I retrying. I haven't tried in a while. I need to order some more of this. I did wet that paper so before, I remember I sprayed it, so it should be a little smoother. Just a little bit around here. Too much. Too much. Just let that flow. We got a pretty sky going here. And then we'll come in and do those other things as it dries. We have also these rocks we're going to start to deal with, and I'm going to get my palette knives back out, and we're going to do some rocky formations to create those geometric lines, coming in with some of our beautiful darker colors here. Okay. Now remember, if you want to blot, make sure that the color's out of your brush, you use your blotter and make sure that comes in very handy for me always. I'm going to get a little paper towel, which I should have done, because I want this to flow a little more and not kind of create a bit of water at the bottom here. Now, see how fast and easy that sky is? You can add more to it later or whatnot if you decide, but you can glaze over it. But that's not the main focus of this particular piece. Just wanted a little bit of that violet, the purple in there. And then I'm liking some of these beautiful effects I got in this sketch here, which are very similar to here actually. You see how similar that composition is from a different book that we did it from. Okay, but I'm going to take liberties a little here, okay, and so once I get my mountain started with now he uses burnt sienna and I'm using quinacridones. I'm going to use quite a bit of my quinacridones in here because I'm really in love with these colors. This is the deep gold, and it can be your brown, and you can bring in a little bit of this neutral trin or Payne's gray. I kind of mixed them together so it's a dark granulated, and bring that in and create some really nice rocky things. Okay, let's mesh those together a little bit more here. Yeah, okay. And then I'm going to get a palette knife again. All right, and we're going to come in, and I do sometimes go straight into the pocket just to get a thick amount on my palette knife. Okay, and then I want to come in and do some of the rocky things up in the foreground. And I noticed that Szabo does that too. He doesn't just, you know, work from the top to the bottom. You kind of go back and forth and around. Okay, you'll see that you can make some very interesting marks with your palette knives. I'm still getting used to using one. It's very odd for watercolor, but it does do some nice stuff. And in these sort of rocky shapes. And if I want, I can bring in my brush into that. Here. Oh, that's great. So I've just come in with this large flat brush across here because in Szabo's painting I saw that he was putting in a large wash of like shoreline here, so I need to soften it a bit. It's a little stronger than I think I'm so used to my flat brush, but I do like this lovely brushes like that. Now here, I softened that up a bit and brought in a little bit of sort of a bluey green because, well, I laid the blue in and it came green, but I am putting some trees up here, so we're gonna take our smallest bristle brush, okay, and we're going to bring in some of our greens. I've got a light golden green, green gold, and I have a sepia, not sepia, sap green. Sepia is brown, isn't it? And then, since I kind of have this like a reflection almost, I thought I would just follow suit here. I brought in a little bit of that golden color up in there too, and it's hopefully wet enough that we're going to get some of our trees going on in here also. Okay. There's some up in the mountains, a little up in there, and then there's some also over here, okay, and I'm seeing what my bristle brush will do here. I'll bring some over here too, a little bit over here also. Kind of sideways also. Detail this a little. Furry trees. Yeah, it's fun. Little pine type trees. So I've been, I had a little struggle with the trees, but I think I'm going to bring in a little more rocks in there, so that'll kind of make that work better. Had a little frustration there, but like in the mountains in the background, in the foreground, I added a little bit more water and things going on in there. And in here, he actually had it whiter, so I'm debating that to lighten that up. But of course, this isn't that painting. It's definitely taking on its own life. I'll bring a little more of the shallow. It's sort of shallow water. That's why you're seeing this beautiful soft golden color in there, and actually when I pull back I actually like it a lot. Okay, so we'll do a little more to kind of set this up, and you can see that, you know, how small these are to how large, and how much nicer doing those sketches has kind of helped me think about how this is going to look, even though I'm using different colors. I like how the sky came out, and I like the mountains. So we're off to a really good start. We won't do the whole thing here, I think, but we'll get it pretty much so you get the gist of using these different techniques together. The quinacridone colors, the palette knives, the bristle brushes I've used for the trees. Okay, so we're pulling all that together, and then still our wet on wets and so forth. Okay. As you can see, I'm adding more soft washes of this deep gold, even though I'm using a very light wash, so I'm getting this sandy, beachy color here. And then I'm adding more wet on wets. I'm keeping it loose, I'm keeping it fresh. Szabo's really inspiring me because that's the way he paints, and even though my style's a little different, I'm catching that this is more my style, and you know, if you want to be loose, he can really kind of affirm that for you, and you can kind of let these things flow and go like this, and this I just did here. I'm still working my trees a little bit, and I'm going to finish her up and put her behind me real soon. I'm going to leave the sky as such, and we'll talk about the inspiration from Trees, Mountains, and Rocks book. Okay. And by the way, I just want to mention that, you know, as I sit down and look at this, and I've walked away from the book after halfway through, 2/3 to halfway through, something like that, you start to look at the painting and say, what does it tell me it needs? I'm seeing some little marks and effects here that I helping me decide how I want to finish it off. The painting is going to let you know, don't try to stay too stuck on a photo or a sketch or a book, okay, or a picture. because the painting is, even if you're out in nature, your painting is going to start to take on its own story and its own life. And if you go with it and don't fight that and try to control it and make it look like what you're looking at, you'll do so much better. Okay. So here's the painting. I added a little bit more, but just going to stop here. I may do finishing touches on it. I always like to take a little time to do that. And of course it could take me a while and the video might not get made, so, or not for a long time. So what I'm doing now is I'm taking this cut mat board, okay, and I'm going to place it around. So this is a way of getting, you know, before I take the tape off. Let's see if I can pull this completely around for you. Then you can get a look at how this will look matted, at least with a single mat, okay? Because it looks a lot different once we put the mat on than it does when it's, you know, not finished. And let's just move this like that. Maybe that'll help that from sticking up. And then we can kind of see what we have, right? I hope you enjoyed the video. I really like how this is coming out, if it isn't already just about finished. I did add a little more work into the top mountain area there. I could do more. I'm debating there, but the overall picture, the way the values are nice and strong and beautiful and varied in the foreground, I really like. Oops, sorry. And you know, the wet on wet's doing their thing, making these beautiful reflections of water in this shallow kind of ground here. So if you have any thoughts or suggestions, leave them in the comments below, okay? And hope you enjoyed. Please keep coming back, like and subscribe, and let's go to the next video. I'm going to maybe work back into more fall colors now because we're in September. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching The Spirit of Watercolor.